Hi friends, it's Unicorn and today I want to bring you a spoiler-free review of the first book I read this year. I'm so happy because it's such an amazing read, hence a amazing start of the reading year. It is Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung, translated by Anton He. Cursed Bunny is a horror and magical realism short story collection from South Korean author Bora Chung that hit me with every aspect of reality. After I read this book, all I can think about is this is a book about how people are systematically eaten by the patriarchy society, especially for women. The people being eaten concept is from a Chinese modern classic by Lu Xun called 狂人日记, a madman's diary. If you have any better words for this concept, please let me know in the comment section down below. Short story collection as a genre is the easiest for me to read a little bit from it and put it aside and forgetting to pick it up again. But that doesn't happen at all with Cursed Bunny. I remember reading it in 2 days and the second day I just cannot put it down. The book has 10 stories. They are very different from one another, but overall I see some subtle connections among all of them. Like I said, this book is horror genre with magical realism, but I wasn't horrifying at all when I was reading this book. Makes me wonder maybe I'm more tolerant for horror stories than I expected. Instead, every twist and turn that happened in the stories make me applaud for the author for her creativity. There's some very peculiar concept or things happened in every story. For example, in one story, there is a talking head merged from the toilet and talked to the character. And in another story, people can get pregnant by not being sexually active but taking too much birth control pills that is longer than prescribed. But the strange and wonderful things about this book is all the characters accept these things as they're part of their regular world. They were troubled by them for sure, but no doubt they have the acceptance for everything happened in their lives. But mind you, these events are not the twists and turns that's gonna surprise you. It is the development from these events that's astonishing. I have so many tabs in the book which I just simply marked wow. By painting the grotesque pictures, the book also presents us a lot of characters who cannot control their fate. Coming from an Eastern Asia background, I cannot help but see the systematic oppression towards people and also the societal misogyny in all of the stories. Not all the main characters in the stories are women, but I see them everywhere. It was the women and other powerless people such as minors who are mistreated, erased, gaslighted, replaced, and objectified. The standards and requirements casted to women for their acceptance in the society is brutally presented in this book. And compared to the bizarre settings, I will argue that these things in our day-to-day life is the part that frightened the readers, at least frightened me. I also loved how Bora played with the fairy tale or folktale concept. There are some stories are written with the common fairy tale themes or elements, but they have a much deeper, darker, and heavier tone carved into the vein of the stories. All of those created some mysterious atmosphere that draws you in, and there's also one science fiction and a very obvious fantasy in this collection. Bora has a MA in Russian and East European area studies and a PhD in Slavic literature. She's now teaching Russian language and literature and science fiction studies. She also translates Russian and Polish modern literatures into Korean. And we can see her background in Russian and Polish studies show in these stories. All of those are little small amazing attachment to each stories, not to mention that the last story was directly set in Poland. I watched a video about this book by the translator Anton He after I finished reading. In that video, he's talking about his understanding of each story and why he chose certain words and to translate some concept. I found it very informative and interesting to watch, and I'll link the link down below. And don't worry, he doesn't give any twist away, so it's safe to watch. And in terms of the stories, I loved all of them, but of course some more than others. And here I want to talk a little bit about my understanding of each stories and my takeaways. But of course, this reflection of mine may not be what the author intended to deliver. But my belief is after the book is published, it's upon the readers to finish its destiny. In the story called The Head, a woman saw a talking head popping out from the toilet. This is the first story in the book and is such a wonderful introduction to Bora's mystic writing. The second story is called The Embodiment. A woman got pregnant after she took the birth control pill for longer than it prescribed. The story wonderfully shows the dilemma that women are in the society. As the community don't accept a unmarried woman with kids, her life is becoming more and more difficult. The story also makes you think a lot about the role that a father played in this patriarchal society and why it is until today women still cannot control our bodies. But I have one tiny thing that annoys me throughout the whole story, but I can't say it here because it will be a spoiler. So if you have read this book, please DM me and we can discuss about it. I'm dying to talk about it. The title story, Cursed Bunny, is an honest portrait of capitalism and how the system is focusing on generating profit and how exploitative and unsustainable it is. And using bunnies as an imagery in the story is also very interesting because bunnies often represent fertility and prosperity. I'm not sure if it's the exactly representation in South Korean culture, but I did do some research and it's like similar things. What happened in the story though, it's so bizarre and so unexpected. Frozen Finger is a story about a woman who went into a car accident. This story is majorly about gaslighting and how people are sunk to this idea that the community projected on them. The next story, Sneer, is my favorite story in the book. It's talking about a man who found a fox in a snare who bled gold. This is a fairy tale with a very dark undertone. This is a comprehensive showing of the societal and cultural exploitation and how easily ignorance grows under the cover of profit. This is a story that makes me think about how women are eaten by the society or authority figures, and it is the most cruel and most brutal story, which is also the most beyond our imagination. Scars is another story that combines the folktale and fable stories with horror elements. It kind of explores the evil that humans can do to each other on different levels with different people. It's just pure horrifying and disgusting. Home Sweet Home, in my opinion, has the most amazing twist in this collection. It's about a young couple who moved to an old building and things started to happen to them. And it has the classical family tension, and the twist in the story is just so brilliant and makes me want to cheer for Bora Chung. Ruler of the Winds and Sands is a fantasy story set in a desert land. It features a brave young woman who has a pure heart. This is the story that makes me the most satisfied after reading it. The last story, Reunion, is about a woman who sees ghosts. It's a story about letting go, surviving, grieving, and healing. It's also a story about generational traumas. I underlined large paragraphs from this story and I want to remember them all. It's such a wonderful closure to this collection. Overall, I enjoyed this book so much and I'm so glad that I picked it up. Because it's funny, I got this book last year but I forgot why I got it. But I feel so lucky that I didn't put off reading this book because I forgot the reason. And it's such a beautiful book and it's so worth reading. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review about Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung, translated by Anton He. If you have any thoughts, please let me know in the comment section down below. And don't forget to say hi, thumbs up to this video if you liked it. I wish you happy reading, stay healthy. I'll see you in my next bookish video. Bye!